Welcome to the Board Game Network. This is James. I'm going to be explaining how to play this game called Covert by Kane Klinko, put out by Renegade Games. Plays 2 to 4 players in about 45 to 90 minutes. Now I've already got it set up here for one player. I've only got one player out here so it's easier to see. You are going to take the special ops tokens, these round tokens, you're going to put them in the covert bag. You are going to randomly take the code numbers and mix them up and lay them out on this track here. You are going to randomly take a character card. There's several character cards and they all have a special ability on them. So make sure you read that. That will affect how you do your play. You have a these are turn order markers, so you're going to have the same number of markers as you have players. You are going to take all of the dice of a single color. You're going to take all of the intel cubes of that same color. You're going to take a one-time re-roll marker of that color also. That just lets you re-roll the dice one time during the game and then you have to discard it. One time you steal. You are going to get dealt 3 agency cards. You're going to start your agents on the 3 cities listed on those cards. You're going to put those back on the deck. You're going to reshuffle that deck, and so your agents get set on those cities. You're going to be dealt 2 more agency cards. You're going to be dealt 2 code cards. They've got equipment on one side and a code on the other side. You're going to be dealt 3 mission cards, and you're going to look at those 3 mission cards. You're going to keep 2 of them and you're going to put 1 on the bottom of the deck. So, and then you're going to deal out 6 agency cards here, and you're going to put the face down deck there. For the agency cards, you're going to be dealt 3 mission cards face up here, the rest of the deck there. You're going to take the rest of the code cards and roughly split those into 2 decks and put those with the equipment face up. And then you are ready to play. What you are is you are agents, spies. At the end of the game, you're going to win based on the number of points you have. Mission cards give you points right here in the upper left-hand corner. These are your mission cards. So that's one way of getting points. The other way of getting points is by the code cards. They have 2 points up in the corner. So if you can complete codes, and if you keep the code card till the end of the game, you'll get 2 points for that. So those are the only 2 ways of getting points, and that's your goal. So how do you complete mission cards? Mission cards have icons on them that tell you to do certain things. They normally will list a piece of equipment. So how do you get equipment? Well, if you complete codes, you flip them over and they give you a piece of equipment. But to complete a mission card, you would have to discard that piece of equipment to help complete that mission. There are also equipment on the agency cards out here, and so you would discard these cards to also get equipment to complete a mission card. So how do you get agency cards? You get agency cards by being in the area that the color of that agency card is that you want. So in this case, blue is in Stockholm. So if he took an agency card, which is this circle here, he put some dice on here, I'll explain that later, and took an agency card, he could get the orange one. He's also on red, so he could take that one. So that's how you would get agency cards, and then you discard that agency card to fulfill the requirement for equipment for your mission card. There is another way of getting agency cards down here, and that is by discarding intel cubes. Anytime you move around on the map, you have to leave behind intel cubes behind you. So when you pick up other people's intel cubes, So when you get two of the same color of intel cubes, you get to draw the agency card from where you are at. And so you get that color agency card. So that's another way of getting an agency card. So what else is on a mission card? There is also this agency icon, and that it's a briefcase, and that simply means discard any agency card that you have. Okay, we also have requirements for cities on mission cards, and cities mean that you have to be in a specific city with one of your agents to complete that part of the mission card. And so how do you get there? Well, movement will let you walk from one to another, or agency cards let you fly to a city that's listed on the agency card if you discard that agency card. So that may get you to the correct city or get you close to it, and then you'd have to move to the city, and once you're in the city then you can complete that requirement. There are also requirements for a specific region, and it's got some little color icon there, and it matches the icon. Each region has an icon. This has got an X and a star, or an asterisk and a star and a diamond and a circle. So this one would require you to have an agent in that region of the country. So this one, you would have to have an agent in Krakow, you would have to have an agent in yellow, and you would have to have a gun. And then you could complete that mission. That mission then just goes down beside your character card to score at the end of the game. And some of these mission cards, but not all of them, provide you something at the bottom of the card. And so when you set these down, you're going to put them underneath your character card and show. This one provides a gun. So any future missions that you try to complete, this one will provide a gun, and you do not have to discard it. So you never have to pick up a gun after that if it only requires one gun. But you can find all kinds of them. Some of them don't provide anything. This one provides a region. Now these are less useful. I'm just giving you an aside note. The region ones are less useful because if you look at the mission cards, there's 11 cards that need guns, but there's only 2 cards that need each specific mission, each specific region. So it's a lot more rare that you're going to actually use the region ones than you are going to use the equipment ones. You'll find them more useful. So when you're picking up mission cards out here, you may want to focus on ones that give you equipment versus giving you regions. Agency cards that you pick up, they will give you equipment, like I said previously. They will let you fly to a city, or they will let you use a special ops ability. And to do any of the 3 things, you have to discard the card to use it. So discard the equipment to fulfill a requirement for your mission, discard it to fly to a city, or discard it for the special ops ability. Now the special ops abilities are listed right here inside your screen. All the different ones, and these are identical to the special ops tokens that we put in here. And there is an icon that lets you add or subtract 1 to a die roll when you're rolling your die. That's at the beginning when you roll your dice and you place your dice out. You can modify the die. There's one that lets you place 2 dice at a time. Normally you're only placing 1 at a time. There's one that lets you move up to 3 movement spaces with your agents. So you could move 1 3 spaces, or 1 a single space, another one 2 spaces. You can move all 3 of them 1 space. There's one that lets you draw 3 agency cards or 3 mission cards, agency or mission cards from the deck. You keep one, you put the other 2 on the bottom of the deck. There's one that lets you do an additional code break phase. Normally, when it's your turn to do breaking codes, you can swap 2 Well, this special ops token would let you swap again. So do 2 swaps instead of 1. Here's one that lets you discard the agency card or discard the token to let you draw a card that just got discarded. Even if you discarded it from the agency cards, they got used and got discarded, you take it back. And then there's one that lets you play out of turn, lets you take the first action either on the dice resolution phase, which is once all the dice are out here, who goes first? You get to go first the first time, or in the code breaking phase, when you try to break codes, you get to go in front of other people. So that's all these special operations. And then you'll notice also on this screen that it shows you the picture of the equipment and the icon that matches. Sometimes they're pretty obvious, but then sometimes they're a little bit different. So it just helps you to recognize that we got a credit card and what the credit card icon looks like. Here's what the camera is and what the camera icon looks like, because your mission cards only show you the icon, not the photograph. So remember, your goal is to complete missions. So there's all the ways that you're going to complete missions is by getting agency cards or completing codes, which give you equipment to complete mission cards, and special ops tokens, which let you do special things to be able to get equipment. So we're ready to start playing. The first player is the player when everybody rolls a dice, rolls all 5 of their dice, and whoever has the most of the same number. So I've got 2 5s here, I've got 2 1s, and then if there's a tie, whoever has the highest number. Alternatively, you can have somebody say this phrase, I am a super secret super spy, as if Sean Connery were saying it, and whoever does the best job at that. If you don't know who Sean Connery is, then I can't help you. So to start the turn, everybody rolls their dice, and you roll it out so everybody can see, and you place the dice one at a time. So whoever the first player is, he's going to take his dice, and he has 3 options. He can put it on the special operations folder here, and it doesn't matter what number it is. He places it there, and he draws a tile from the bag. If he places it on, he can place it on the code track, or he can place it in one of these circles. And the first one is moving, and you move up to all 3 of your agents 1 space. So you could put it there. This one lets you take an agency card, and that agency card has to be from the region where you have an agent. This one lets you take a mission card, and that can be any of the face-up mission cards, or the face-down mission card, or the 4th circle is to complete a mission. So you have to have a die in there to actually complete a mission. Now once somebody has placed a single die in here, remember the first player is only placing 1 die, and so he has those 3 options, here, here, or one of those 4. So he places 1, and once he's placed 1, then the next player will go, and the next, and for the first turn, these are in left. First player goes, and then the second is to the left, and third and fourth. But from then on, these may be out of order around the table, so you go based on the number order. So whoever is second places down at 1 die, and whoever's third and whoever's fourth. And once there's a die in a circle, then you can only place adjacent die down. So if there's a 4 there, the only die that can be placed after that is a 3 or a 5. Once one of those has been placed, that adjusts what can be played. So it's possible that you can't even play in a circle because of the die that you rolled. Once somebody is out of dies to place, or they can choose not to place any die, the first person to do that takes the number 1 token, and that lets him be first in pulling dice off and doing the dice resolution. and then the second player who doesn't play a die, third and fourth player. But once you've taken this, then you cannot play any more die for that round. So once all of the dice have been placed and all of the turn markers have been given out, 1, 2, 3, 4, then player 1 gets to go, and the code breaking happens first before any of the dice come off the circles. And so the order can happen in any order, as far as you can reverse two numbers on the track and they have to be orthogonally adjacent. So you could do something like that, one above the other, and you can even go across from here to here to reverse two numbers, and you're trying to match the codes on your code cards. If you placed any dice over here, you can also put dice out and cover up a number and use the number that is on your die instead of the number that's underneath. So you can do this stuff in any order. You can solve up to both of your code cards in the same turn. So you could solve a card, you could put a die out, you could reverse and solve another card, or any kind of order like that up to 2 cards. If you solve it, you flip it over so that you get the equipment. You put the equipment down next to your player card, and it's been solved. And then it goes to player 2, and the die, as soon as the die has used to complete one code, the die comes off. You cannot use the die twice. It can only be used to solve one card. And then it becomes player 2 to solve codes, player 3 to solve codes, player 4 to solve codes. Once you have completed code cards, you get to draw replacement code cards, so you're always going to have 2 code cards in your hand. And then player 1 gets to start pulling dice off of the circles. And so there's going to be dice just around. And normally dice come off one at a time, and then it becomes player 2, player 3, player 4, according to the turn order. However, some things can pull off more than one die at a time. The movement you can pull off more than one die at a time, and if you do that, for each die you pull off, you can move all of your spies up to 1 space. So if you pull off 2 dice, you can move all of your spies up to 2 spaces, or you can pull them off just one at a time, pull off 1, move them 1 space, let other people go, and then later on move them another space. The agency card, take an agency card from the region where you have an agent. For 2 dice, take any face up or face down card. So when you pull 1 off, you can pull the agency card from wherever you have an agent. Or if you take 2 off at the same time, you can take any card here, or you can take a face down card instead. For each die, this is for mission cards, you take a face up or a face down, so you're only going to take 1 die at a time, and you get to draw any one of these mission cards or a face down mission card. And then this one, you take off 1 die to complete a mission. So it would be a mission that you have in your hand. You would discard the appropriate equipment, and you would have to have a spy in the appropriate city or region or any of that stuff. And then when you complete them, you're going to set them down underneath your character card to show if you get any other equipment or region that counts towards future mission cards. So going into detail on the movement one, when you move, you are going to place intel cubes behind you. So you move, place an intel cube, move, place an intel cube. So you're leaving intel cubes behind you. You do have a limit of 7 agency cards in your hand, and you have a limit of 3 mission cards in your hand. So if you ever get more than that, then you would have to discard. And any of your tokens, any of your special ops tokens, or discarding an agency card to do something, that is in addition to your turn. It's not your action. It's in addition to your action. So the way this game ends is on the round that somebody gets 6 mission cards completed. When they complete their 6th mission card, the round ends. And then everybody gets the chance to complete one additional mission if they can from their hand. If they already have the stuff to do it, they can complete it. But they cannot use any character abilities to do that. And then you're going to score all your mission cards, and you're going to score any equipment that you have from the code cards that you still have. And then, so you just score up your high score there, see who wins. A tie would be broken by whoever has done the most missions. And the highest mission card would further break a tie. So that is how you play Covert. Make sure you tune into all of our videos here at the Board Game Network to learn how to play the latest games.